Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Chat EbT. I'm your host, Mohammed Ebrahim Tayob. Now, many people think you need years of experience and a really big bank account to open up a successful business. My guest today likes to prove them wrong. He's an award-winning business coach. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Willem Gous.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, pleasure for being here, man.
Yeah. So yes, that's so true. You know when he said people believe that you need all these things to start a business, and it's the biggest lie that the startup industrial complex has been spreading for many, many years.
I think I actually agree with you. I think a lot of people, and we've spoken about it a lot, a lot of people always have that problem, and we say the most difficult part is it's the 0 to 1%. The 1% onwards, yes, there's challenges, but the 0 to 1%, the actual putting your foot in the ground, putting your foot through the door, that's where the difficulty comes in. And I think what you're saying is that lie is preventing a lot of people from taking that step.
Yeah, so I see this so often. So I refer, it's learned helplessness. So if you're not familiar with the concept, back in the day, circuses used to have animals, and when they bought a new baby elephant, they would tie a rope to its leg and tie it to a peg, and it can't escape. But they use the same rope and peg when it's an adult. It can just lift its leg and go like, au revoir, but it doesn't, because it's learned that it can't escape. Mm-hmm. And the learned helplessness that I see throughout Africa, other developing economies, even to high-level, PwC consultant people who want to start their own business, the learned helplessness is that I need a business plan, I need funding, and I need access to market. And that is the biggest lie. You don't need any of those to start a business.
So where do you think a lot of people are just getting held up? Because, I've actually fallen into that trap, right? I wanted to start something, and for me, it's like, okay, I need to get the website done. I need to get this done. I need to get that done. Before I can even contact clients or start anything, I first need to get all of this done. And because of that being so overwhelming, it sort of pushes you back. And sometimes they don't even get started. I've had one that never ever got started because I felt like I needed to do all these steps before I could even switch on the lights.
So that's the classic, you bought the bus problem. So I refer to that as don't buy the bus. So let's say you plan to open a tour bus company. What's the first thing they do? It's not funding. You get a loan. You buy a bus. You have liabilities and sleepless nights. You don't have a single tourist, do you? No. So now nothing works. What you need to do is never buy the bus. The biggest mistake you can make when you want to start a business is to build a business. Never build a business. You need to build a customer book. If you can find enough tourists to fill the bus, you hire a bus, you take them on the tour, and if you can consistently fill that rental bus, consider buying the bus. And that's the biggest mistake. I've seen, I do a lot of township work. Like I get unemployed people in a township to start a profitable business in 5 weeks without external funding by changing how they think. And people sit there, I've been waiting for funding or this, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I've met a woman, 10 years, 30 minutes with me. She said, what do you mean? I could have started 10 years ago. She realized it then. And that's the biggest issue that we have. But also now, you're married. It becomes dangerous for you because now you're spending all that time, all that money, you're burning through your cash. Instead of doing what drives business, you confuse doing business with busyness. And that's a big difference.
So where does that, and we've spoken about it a lot on the change of mindset, because mindset is such an important thing.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
So what you're essentially speaking to there is changing that mindset. We don't need all the funding. We don't need X, Y, Z before we start. How do you work with people to change that mindset? And what are some of the challenges that people just can't seem to overcome? What's some of the speed bumps that people just get stuck on?
That's a very good question. In townships, I see this consistently. where it's simply a perspective. It's a belief that you hold. And once you show people, one thing that I've seen working a lot with the youth is they complain. They try to build a future with bricks that do not exist. I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have that. Instead of building the future with what you have. You have kids, don't you? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a child sit in front of a box of Legos? And then you go like, Dad, do you have the instructions? I think if your kid asks that, you'll turn to your wife and go, I think this one is broken. Yeah. You know, maybe we can return it. Check the tag on the bum. Maybe we can return it still. A child will just play with it. But adults, we go, where's the instructions? You have so many resources going for you, but yet we sit, we have nothing.
Well, what do you think made that, what do you think changes, let's say that? Because I agree with you. When you're a child, you see the world very differently. You use your imagination much more. You put yourself into projects much more. But as we get into the adult stages, is it just that doubt that creeps in? Is it the what if I fail that creeps in? What happens? What changes there?
Yeah, because as adults, we love to plan and complicate things. Has anybody ever given you advice, or you discovered something and it was very simple and you distrusted it because it's not very complex?
Yeah, I've done that.
So we love to add complexity to things that do not need complexity. And business is very simple. It's more difficult to fall out of bed than to start a business. But we complicate it. And once they spend time with me and they start to discover, but hang on, I have everything around me to get this going already, the opportunities just explode.
You know, I'm smiling because you mentioned that, and my favorite quote of all time is by a chef, Marco Pierre White.
Yeah.
And he said this is, keep it simple. Perfection is a lot of little things done well. Exactly. And I think that's basically what you're saying there, right? Is that we just try to overcomplicate things, but if we do 10 things and just keep it simple, that's where we get in the perfection.
Absolutely. You know what, we distrust the straight line from A to B. Go like, oh, come on. There needs to be a B, C, D, E, F to X, and then like, yeah, okay, now we're finally there. So stop complicating things and just start the business. And that's the other belief, that I have to have these things. I have to have an office, a business card. People don't buy your website. They don't buy your business card. They don't buy your brochure. They buy you in the beginning.
So how do we get out of our own way?
That's a very good question. Is you have to commit, number one, first, that I need to make a change. So either you make a change or life will make a change for you. You know, I do a 9-week version of my 5-week township program that I do with individual business owners like you. And people will sit there, now I'm fine now, and everything that they say to me is they bought the bus. Everything points that they spent the money, they're tweaking the product, they're busy 3 months, and you're like, how many clients do you have? I have one. Well, I almost have one. I go, really? And I say, come do this with me. Let's make a plan. No, that's fine. And then 4 months later, they call me, I need your help. Okay, cool. Show me the money. I don't have any money. Excuse. I can't help you with that. So to look at what's in front of you. If you don't have enough money, or let's say your expenses are more than your income, and you can see there's a definite dead end, make a plan now.
Yeah.
Don't, because when the dead end comes, life is going to make a decision for you, and it ain't going to be nice. It reminds me of that quote by, I think it was Jim Rohn. If you don't have a life plan, you'll fall into someone else's. And guess what they planned for you? Not much. And then decisions get forced upon you. So it's small actions. People think you need to make the perfect move the first time. It's like trying to jump from the one side of a school hall to the other side in one go. You can't. And if you even can, now you realize it's in the wrong direction. Now you realize, oh, I have to go all the way back. And that's a problem. So one small step, one foot in front of the other. Is this working? Okay, it's fine. What's the next one? What's the next one? Because everybody, you've probably heard this, but Willem, you have to love risk to be an entrepreneur. You've probably heard that.
Yeah.
Do you like risk?
Not as much. Partially, I mean, I think it comes from the aspect that you high risk, high reward, but I mean, where I can avoid it, definitely.
Yeah. I don't like risk. It's not that I wake up and give me a bowl of risk for breakfast, okay? And people think you have to do these large things, and it's about small. That's why I treat entrepreneurship as a learnable skill. Anybody can do this. Because some guys will take large jumps, respect, and if they pull it off, well done. And other people are more cautious, and they make small steps, small steps. Will the other person grow faster than them? Most probably. But do they both start a business? Exactly. Are they building something that can sustain and grow and accelerate and give them the life that they've always wanted? Yes. And that's the important thing, is to getting back to what you said, the 0 to 1. You know, my French coaching client said to me, Willem, you are the 0 to 1 guy.
And I think you touched on something important there. I think a lot of people feel that every step needs to be perfect. I don't think that even exists. It's never going to be perfect every step of the way. Yeah, you're going to get really great steps, and there's going to be some that are close to perfect. But I think there's never really a perfect step now, is there?
Yeah, you know what, and decisions got you there, decisions will get you out. So you made this, unmake this, make something else.
No, very true.
Yeah.
I'm very interested, and go back to, you know, your journey. What got you into business coaching?
So very interesting thing. So I've been an entrepreneur for 26 years, okay? I was voted Startup Coach of the Year for Africa in 2025, the Startup Mentor of the Year 2023. And I've been an entrepreneur for 26 years. I've destroyed myself 4 times. Okay, so I had to restart from 0 4 times.
Sure.
So I teach nothing that I haven't lived myself. Okay, I'm not some guy who read books. I lived this. I have the scars, the T-shirts, and the tattoos to show that. And my dad's always been an entrepreneur, so I did start a few businesses when I was younger and everything else, and then I went on my own without planning, and I just did stuff, and it was a stuff up, but also good. And I've built some very good and successful businesses. And then in 2014, I got involved in the entrepreneurship development space.
Okay.
And that's also when I realized it's the biggest BS theater out there. It leads to nothing. I have no time, respect, or any admiration for the startup industrial complex. It's the biggest theater of false promises and broken dreams.
So why do you say that? I'm very interested now.
Because everybody goes like, you know what, you need to learn to pitch. How are you going to get funding? What's your business model? What's that? And I go like, yeah, as soon as you say that, this is a BS program. I have a picture that I created using AI of a sports car being towed by a donkey.
Okay.
And that just illustrates the startup industrial complex, because everything is about the business, the Porsche, the sports car, this amazing thing, but they never develop the entrepreneur. And then it doesn't go anywhere. And they go, I don't know why it doesn't work. Well, let's look at this, Sipiwe. You never developed the engine in this thing. And then they go, we don't know why this is not working. And I develop the human being. So I famously say, I don't teach people to fish, I make fishermen.
Very common, yeah.
I develop people who build businesses. I don't do these incubator things that they take you through this useless program that leads to nothing. You know, look at the amount of money being spent on entrepreneurship development in Africa and worldwide. Do you see a massive tsunami of new entrepreneurs? No, it's not there.
What would you say is the key difference between successful business operators building the engine and those that are using the donkey, to use your metaphor?
Yeah, so they look at the business as the process and everything else. You as the entrepreneur, your business will only become as big as your thinking. If your business is thinking, it's thinking. Your business is a manifestation of your thinking. And I work on the person. So I always tell people entrepreneurship is 10% business and 90% personal development. Because in the other programs say, what's your business model? You need to pitch. Pitch for what? An idea? Look at my face. I have a face for radio. Imagine I say, give me $500,000 because I'm going to go out and date supermodels. You're going to laugh at me. Go like, Willem, have you ever spoken to a woman? No, I have not spoken to a woman ever before, but you need to give me $500,000 to go on dates with them. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's exactly what we say.
True.
I've never run a business. I've never done anything in this. I've never touched one of these things. I've read about it. We've discussed it on a business model, but I've never touched one. So you need to give me money so I can do this.
That's actually a very good point.
Are you insane? And that's the problem with the thing. People think funding and money will sort out the problem. No. To quote Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems.
Oh, very true. Yeah. And I think that's actually a very good point, because a lot of the time, it's sort of like that old adage, you're just putting a bandage on a bullet hole.
Hell yeah.
If you don't have that fundamental skills, if you don't have that key aspects that you need at the personal level, it's very, very difficult, no matter how much money you're getting in, if you're not using it correctly, or if you're not functioning correctly, it's just going to be that bandage.
Yeah, it's about the awareness. So I developed the metacognition in you. So you become self-aware and you start thinking about your thinking. So at the end of the day, you can analyze and you become empowered to build this thing yourself. Because to come back to your earlier point, the steps, because how many shots have you, proper slaps through the face, have you had since you started your business? Probably many.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the thing, is to learn to take the slaps, get up, take another one. And to start your business in such a way, not if, but when it fails, you can start again, and you can start again, and you can start again. So a lot of people in my 5-week program in townships will start and kill 2 or 3 businesses in 5 weeks. I'm like, no, I tested this for 3 days, and I'm killing it. Like, yes, we love killing businesses. Why is it not working? No, I'm not making money. Ah, pashas, laka, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm going to do this. Nice, we'll check in on Friday.
I think the aspect that we forget about a lot, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So Yoda said this, is failure is the best teacher. And I think we're so afraid of failure that we don't sometimes lean into it and learn from those lessons.
Yeah, I'm going to push back on that. We
please do.
We don't learn from failure.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, do you have a female friend, or your wife has a female friend who just broke up with her boyfriend, and for the 5th time she go like, I don't know why I always date these a-holes. You know, why do I always end up with the cheaters? Well, Sandra, let's look at this. Let's look at the common denominator in these 5 relationships. Wow, you are the common denominator. But Sandra does not learn her lesson because it requires Sandra to look in the mirror and ask herself, Sandra, what did you do to create this? Instead, she opens the window and looks for the next victim to point to. But the problem lies in Sandra. So, and that brings me to a point that not everything in your business is your fault. But 100% of everything is your responsibility.
Very true.
And that's a critical thing that we're missing. And Sandra hasn't learned that lesson. So to learn out of failure is a choice to look at where you are imperfect.
Yeah, you need to look in the mirror. I actually agree with you there.
And
That's
it's
the most
tough.
important thing.
It's hard. I mean, luckily I surround myself with mentors, other people who challenge me, and they go like, come on, really? You're doing this again? And I go, damn it. And they keep me on track.
On track, yeah.
Because they see my patterns. And that's the important work that I do with people, is to help you discover the patterns. Because as you get older, those patterns get more ingrained.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in my 50s, so most of my patterns are 50 or 48 years old. And for me to change them can get difficult.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about, and thank you so much for bringing your book in for us today. So I understand that you've written a book. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so this is my third book on entrepreneurship. And this is based with my work with thousands of township entrepreneurs. So the title is simple: Side Hustle Success, a low-cost, low-risk way to make more money in 5 easy steps. I don't like fancy titles. The title needs to tell you what you're going to get. Okay? You go, I need cash. Well, this can give me cash. Okay, I like this. And it's a very simple book. It's a short book because it's not very complex. And only one chapter deals with how to start a business. And it's the shortest chapter ever. The rest is all about you. Because why do you start this business? Most people have no idea where they started. Second chapter is how to start a business, and that's really quick. Then third chapter is how to find customers with money. I think you've realized there's a lot of people who want your service, but not a lot of people who have the cash or willing to pay for that service. And then chapter 4, and I always make this joke that entrepreneurship is more difficult for women than it is for men, because men are used to rejection. And the fourth chapter is how to overcome fear, rejection, and demotivation. And the fifth chapter is how to build your rhythm of success.
Oh, brilliant. Before we wrap up, I
Yes.
always love asking this question, is what message would you like to give the viewers to take away from this interview today?
The future is going to be a consistent wave of change, disruption, and uncertainty. Try to look into your future. Can you see that your ability to see into it is shortening every week? And entrepreneurship as a thinking method and a way to apply in work, life, and in business needs to become part of you. So instead of looking at this wave in fear and then eventually it washes over you and drowning, take the first step today. How can you start being entrepreneurial today? In your life, in your relationships, in your work, and even in the business if you want to start one.
That's very, very good.
Thank you.
Last question.
Shoot.
You know, we always say hindsight is 20/20, and you've mentioned you've had a very long career, you've had ups and downs. So if you had to go back to any time in your life and give yourself a piece of advice, when would you go back to, and what would that advice be?
Oh, just before I was about to start my first business and tell myself the don't buy the bus story.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a great chat. Thank you
Thank
very, very much. I know I've certainly learned a lot from this, so thank you very, very much, and I'm sure our viewers will as well. It's such a pleasure having you here, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Anytime.
Oh, brilliant. All right, that's our show. I love the way Willem put it. Sometimes we just don't need to buy the bus. My name is Ebrahim Tayob. You're watching Chat EbT. Until next time.